Shalom Mishpacha. This is not the video I had in mind making after the busy high holiday season. I signed off from a small sanctuary for a while, wanting to decompress and generate new ideas for new videos. But this is a sad time, a hard time, a devastating time, and an unprecedented time for the Jewish people. So much is already being said on social media, in the news cycle, in other forms of discourse. I don't have much to say. There is little that I can add in terms of my expertise to what is going on in Israel right now, except for my prayers for peace, for the Jewish family and the human family. What I can speak to, however, is how we cope with this time. And I have some suggestions as someone who has been through bereavement myself and who has guided other people through bereavement as a rabbi with 10 years of experience. What I would like to offer you in this video is some guidance from a rabbinic perspective on how to move through this current moment and how to take care of yourself best. What I also like to offer in this video is a moment of song and prayer. In this recording, right about now, I am going to put a timestamp where you can find the song, right here. The Hashkiveinu song, here is the timestamp. So you can forward to that part of the video. A gentle reminder that I am not a clinician, a doctor, or a mental health expert in any shape or form, but I can bring a little bit of the wisdom of the Jewish tradition for you. So I'd like to share something that I wrote for my congregation, something I posted on social media, and I hope it may offer you some level of comfort. The house of Israel weeps. Rabbinic thoughts on our mourning. I am not a clinician or an expert on mourning, but I am a rabbi with a decade of experience who has been a mourner multiple times in my own life and who has guided others through grief. I welcome you to check and test my words, both against the verifiable wisdom of experts and against your own lived experiences. Meanwhile, with loving intention, I offer you this. 1. Grief is not rational. We may feel animated one moment and numb the next. We do not have to analyze our emotions. We just sit with them. That is what Shiva, the Jewish mourning week, is for. 2. Grief is not linear. We may experience setbacks and loops in our grief journey. This is normal. 3. Grief is pain. It is not ideology or analysis. Each of us is allowed to grieve on our own terms. We do not have to justify our feelings to others. 4. Grief manifests in different ways. For some Jews, leaning into the safe space of our particularism is how we process grief. For other Jews, leaning into the open space of our universalism is how we process grief. Let us treat each other with grace. 5. We do not have to do all the things or be all the things at once. The magnitude of what we are going through does not require immediate analysis or action. We are in mourning. There are no perfect words to be said. There aren't even adequate ones. 6. Immediacy prompts its own responses. Be aware of the fluidity of your own emotions. We may feel or think one thing 1 minute and then contradict ourselves. That's okay. 7. This is not the time for theology. This is not the time to ask how God could make this happen, nor does it need to be a time for politics. The purpose of healthy spirituality is not to explain away, but to hold space. God can hold space, and God can hold our anger and distress. We do not need to search for an existential or political explanation yet. 8. Those outside the circles of grief will not understand. Grief is a solitary journey. We are hearing and will hear comments that will hurt us by those who are not in our circle of grief. We will yearn for validation that others are not able to conceive of giving. We are allowed to be angry about that. It is the nature of our grief journey. 9. Social media will almost certainly make everything worse. Designed for impulsive action and addictive dopamine hits, social media will amplify our deepest hurts and worst impulses. Be cognizant of this and step away. Put your phone down. Take care of yourself. 10. Unlike some forms of grief, what is happening right now in Israel and beyond has no foreseeable closure. This makes the grief more open-ended and more complicated. We are in it for the long haul. 11. This type of grief is a moving target. Depending on how the war develops, we may be grieving differently tomorrow than we are today. We have witnessed the slaughter of innocents. It is going to get worse before it gets better. We need each other. 12. Moral injury and survival guilt are real. We are here and we are not there. We are seeing the transfer of explicit information and misinformation unprecedented in human history. We are bombarded with heartbreaking and gut-wrenching images. This will traumatize and re-traumatize us. None of this is normal, and none of this is okay. So, what to do, brothers and sisters? 1. Lean into ancestral wisdom. Our human cultures, including our Jewish culture, have developed very sophisticated ways to help us mourn. Turn to them, say Kaddish, light a candle, pray, give tzedakah, sit in silence, sing. 2. Take care of your needs and of yourself. You are not a bad mourner for laughing, feeling odd moments of joy, enjoying the sun, physical activity, physical intimacy, or other life-affirming activities. This is part of the human coping mechanism. 3. In Jewish mourning customs, the Shiva, the week of mourning, we sit in silence. Sometimes we eat, pray, share, and just be together. Do not hesitate to reach out to your local synagogue and your local rabbi. That is what we are here for. There are countless other things to say, but I will close with this. We are all teetering on the edge of a knife as we live through a heavily politicized and publicized form of collective trauma and grief. Things are not normal. You are allowed to feel what you have to feel. You are you, and you are loved. You don't have to offer opinions or analysis. You can shut your device and shut away the news. You can cry, scream, or just be quiet. You can work for justice, but do it on your own terms. As for me, I've been sitting Shiva most of these days, in silence and sometimes in numbness while tending to my rabbinic duties. Often I take my own advice and sometimes I don't. But I hold fast to Elohei Yisrael, to God's mercy for all God's human creatures. I stand true with the suffering of Am Yisrael, my beloved Jewish people. And I seek wisdom and grounding in Torat Yisrael, the collective body of Jewish wisdom, which has so much to say about trauma, persecution, loss, covenant, compassion, and the human family and the dignity of all. I love you all, my Jewish people, and I love you all, my human family. May the slaughter of innocents cease quickly and decisively. May we hold on to each other and our humanity. It is what we've got. With heartfelt blessings of peace and comfort, of shalom and nechama, from my bait to your bait. Thank you for watching. Hashkiveinu is a Jewish lullaby prayer. It is one of the blessings after the Shema, which we say in the evening liturgy. And we imagine God's love and God's comfort stretching over us like a sukkah or like a covering. And that's why I'm wearing this talit, even though it's dark outside. I just wanted to feel God's closeness as I bring you this music. The Hashkiveinu prayer is very old, and it addresses the existential themes of feeling dread in the night and seeking God's comfort. There are many tunes to the Hashkiveinu, but quite a few years ago I wrote my own tune, set to the English words, which I retooled slightly from the conservative prayer book Sim Shalom, the old conservative prayer book. You can find very similar or equivalent prayers in any Jewish prayer book. I used the divine masculine, but this prayer works well with the divine feminine too. Instead of singing Our Father, you can sing Our Mother. Instead of singing Our King, you can sing Our Queen. I will leave the lyrics in the show notes of the YouTube video below. I hope that this rendition gives you a little bit of peace and settles your soul during these very distressing times. May we all be held in God's protection. Amen ve'amen. Rise up in peace beneath the shelter of your wings. Help us light out in peace. Help us rise up in peace beneath the shadow of your wings. Ya-da-da, ya-da-da. Remove the evil that surrounds us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wing. Oh God, who watches us and deliver us. Oh, our gracious and merciful King. God, I'm coming. Rise up in peace beneath the shelter of your wings. Help us light out in peace. Help us rise up in peace beneath the shadow of your wings. Baruch atah Adonai. Shomer Amo Yisrael. to lie down in peace and awaken us to life again, our King. Wishing all of us, the entire house of Israel, the entire human family, and the entire world, so much healing and so much peace. Thank you for being with me today.